are starting to get really interesting with U.S. immigration. Can Donald Trump give you a green? Hey guys, before you file for your spouse, Hey guys, come on in, type in freedom now, freedom now, freedom now. I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer in New York, working with clients nationwide at McBean Law. I hope you guys had a terrific weekend. Thank you so much for staying plugged in. There was so much that I even shared with you during the weekend, right? About TPS for Haitians ending, some weird things happening at USCIS. There's just so much to talk about, right? If you guys had not yet seen any of the videos that I did during the weekend for you guys, jump over to Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook so that you can watch those clips and get those important updates. We also try to share them to you here on McBean Immigration TV as well via shorts. And so soon you will be getting some of these updates on your phone as well, telling you that you have a new video. It's good to be with you guys. Thank you so much. Type in freedom now and certainly tell me where you're joining from today. Let's see if I could, I'm going to make a slight adjustment on my end here, guys. Give me a second. Oops. Let's see if I could do this, decrease that. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Freedom now. Hey there, Fantasia. Thank you, guys. Hey there, Bonaventure. Good to see you. Some folks who have been following me for years. We're going to talk about some important news that you guys need to be aware of. In addition to going through, of course, your questions, the format today will be news, questions, news, questions. So stick around all the way until the end. Someone is asking a question about how can I meet with you for an appointment. Sure, certainly you can contact our office, and it looks like our phone number is scrolling above. Okay, it's 914-898-9488. Contact us for an appointment. You'll speak with one of our receptionists. Let's see if I could get this on the screen. I think this is the right one. Okay, so there's our contact information for you. You could also email us at info@mcbeanlaw.com, where your email will be responded to by someone on our team to book an appointment for you. Thank you guys for being here today. Freedom now, freedom now. I hope you're doing well. So we're going to get into, guys, we're going to get into the first big issue, okay? The first issue is, it's really a topic that one of you, a lot of you actually have been trying to get me to talk about this, and went right over the head, okay? And someone messaged me on in the stories. I'm in my stories on Instagram, so if you don't know that, you should know that you know that now. I am in my stories. And so someone sent me a message in my stories on Instagram, and I saw it, and he said, please talk about HR 875, guys. This is huge, huge, and we missed it this weekend, but we're on it right now. So HR 875 passed the House. This is really big because what's happening now on Capitol Hill is this, guys. Certain Republican members of Congress are using this opportunity as the time to put forward some very broad policies, laws, new laws that criminalizes immigrants, even for things as small as what we're going to discuss today, although obviously it could lead to something very big if repeated. But this is about DUIs, guys. HR 875 passed, and it is overly broad, and it passed the House on Thursday, June 26th, by a vote of 246 to 160, and it is now on the Senate side. It went over to the Senate on June 27th, and like I said, it's broad, and what it does, friends, is it makes makes the offense of driving under the influence, DUI, any DUI related offenses, whether it's a misdemeanor or a felony, whether you've been convicted or just charged with, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter so long as it hits your record and it makes you both inadmissible as well as deportable, both. Okay, and this HR 875, um, it would, like I said, non-citizens or those who do not have lawful status in the United States will be barred from entering the United States if they have this on their record somewhere. But here in the United States, more practically speaking, if you're going through a green card process adjustment of status, it would make you inadmissible, and it would also make you deportable if you've ever been convicted of or even admitted to driving under the influence. And this applies to both alcohol and drugs. And even if the offense is a misdemeanor, if it's old or expunged, it doesn't even matter right now based on how this broad bill is constructed. And the bill also defers to the state's local jurisdiction, state or local jurisdiction, to define what DUI actually means. And so if passed on the Senate side, certainly President Trump will sign this into office, like what he did in January with the first bill that overly criminalized individuals who are even arrested for or having committed a theft-related offense. Okay, so now this is the second big one that they're really pushing forward, and this will impact those of you who are trying to get a green card or you're trying to do naturalization, whether you're seeking a waiver or even a visa renewal. It is so broad, guys. The attempt is to place people in removal proceedings, and to deport them. That's really where this is going, and it's incredibly harsh. And of course, obviously, we all know that we should not drink and drive or do drugs and drive. That is like, don't do it. Don't do it. It's a dumb thing to do. You could kill someone, even on the first time doing it, you could kill someone. So this is, of course, a very serious issue with respect to DUI. But there are millions of people. I saw the information earlier. I don't have it here in front of me right now, but millions of people are arrested each year for a DUI related offense. Most people pay their fee, and they go through a certain process. Locally speaking, for some people, they're placed under community supervision, whatever the case might be. It depends on the local jurisdiction, and then it's over. But now with this, it's actually, even if it's one, and many of you say, well, I have like 2 or 3 and now the 4th one, right? So even if it's one, it's going to be a big problem and can land you in deportation court. So this is something that we're watching on the Senate side now. And again, it's called the bill is HR 875, if you guys would like to track it. And with that being said, let's jump over to some questions that you guys have today. And by the way, friends, please, if you have any good news to share, I'm going to give some shout outs towards the end of today's broadcast. So just type in your comments below. If you had a work permit that was approved, a green card or a visa, or you're here in the United States now, you got through, or something happened on the positive side, whether it's for you or someone else, absolutely share it. We all need the encouragement. Someone says, I can't wait to meet with you for our appointment in August. Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to seeing you. Freedom Now. Freedom Now. Miami is in the house. Brooklyn is in the house. Tennessee. Who? Tennessee. Tennessee. London, England, New York. Thank you, guys. Florida. Florida. Also, friends, birthright citizenship. I did a lengthy live session on Friday about the Supreme Court decision about national injunctions, and how it does impact the executive order and birthright citizenship. So certainly check that out. We'll put that video in the chat for you guys. If you had not yet seen my video on birthright citizenship and the Supreme Court decision and what it all means, it's not on the merits, so don't totally lose it quite yet. The constitutionality of birthright citizenship has not yet been determined, okay? It's just that the Supreme Court has ran out of patience with federal judges across the country in their small or big jurisdictions saying no to something that impacts that has a nationwide impact. So that's what really happened there. Okay, so now the first question is how much time does it take to process an I-130? So the I-130 certainly will depend on who your petitioner is, what category you're in. All right, so you could also check USCIS's website to see where they are with the I-130. It depends on your case, of course. All right. Let's see. What does this mean for people that have cases pending at consular interviews? I believe you're talking about the HR 875. As you guys know, when you're going through an embassy process for a visa, you also have to, for particularly, we're talking about the immigrant visa, you'll have to show a police clearance and any criminal record that you have. Your visa application does ask about it, and also on the DS-160, on both the DS-160 and 260, the U.S. Embassy or Consulate Abroad wants to know what your record is, because they are looking to see if you have anything that makes you inadmissible or any reason for them to be concerned about giving you that visa. So something as broad as this could absolutely impact you if the Senate passes this and President Trump signs it into law, the DUI issue. Again, it's defined based on local jurisdictions, however those locals define DUI. Freedom now, freedom now. Again, reach out to us, guys. We're here for you. Okay. Can you travel in two different names? The green card may have one name and the passport has another. Yes, you can, you know, particularly if you're a married woman and maybe you haven't completed the name change process, if you choose to do a name change process, and one of your documents, maybe your green card, has your marital name on it, but you haven't yet updated your passport. That's quite easy to explain. Someone says, what is your phone number again? It's on the screen. It's 914-898-9488. You can reach us at that number. Let's go. Seattle is in the house. Thank you for being here. Let's go down to someone says, thank you for all the spot on information. Thank you for that, because I get so much negative comments too. So I appreciate that. And, you know, it just fuels me. It makes me say, oh, I've got to get another video out. Oh, that person wants to hinder me. Let me go do something next. Let me push harder. Let me go more. That's what it does for me, guys. So thank you. Thank you for all the motivation. From those of you who are negative. Thank you so much. You're helping me a great deal. Oh, right. Here's a good question that says, what should you do? Let's read it from here. What should you do after your visa was denied for overstaying? It's a marriage-based case. So you're going through a marriage-based case. You had overstayed your visa. My question is, first of all, there's a waiver that's part of the process. It's called an I-601 waiver that has to be filed after the U.S. Embassy makes a determination that you're inadmissible for whatever the reason is, including a visa overstay, and that waiver will be able to take care of that problem for you. Okay, let's keep going. Someone says, I have TPS. Okay, let's move this. I have TPS since 2010. I'm assuming this is Haiti, because 2010 is when it went into effect for Haiti. I'm now married to my U.S. citizen wife, Haiti is on the ban list. Can I still go ahead and apply for a green card? Yes, you're here in the United States with TPS. You're married to a U.S. citizen, and you should be able to do that adjustment of status. However, what I would want to know is, how did you enter the United States when you entered? Was it with inspection? Was it without inspection? Was it via a parole? What are the circumstances? Because that's what's really going to determine whether you could adjust your status and get your green card here or not, or whether you'll have to go through a different process of being routed overseas for an embassy process. This is probably a good segue into and I'm just going off script here for a little bit. So you guys know, you saw my video and you've been reading the news and following others, so you know that TPS for Haiti is coming to an end on September 2nd. Okay, and that's when the work permit will also end, September 2nd. And this is going to affect over 500,000 or 500,000 Haitians who are currently in the United States, living and working here and have built your life here. And so this is a devastating blow to a whole lot of people. It's the Kristi Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security, had announced the termination of TPS for Haiti. And although the current designation expires on August 3rd, it will officially end on September 2nd. And even in the announcement, it says that if you have any other opportunities for lawful status, that you need to begin exploring. Yes, of course, it says, well, you should be preparing, of course, to leave the United States, but it also said that you should be looking for other ways to stay here long term. So for some people, they will be able to stay here long term. I have a video on from Saturday that we're going to put the link here so that you guys can watch it. And actually, we're going to publish it today on YouTube, that goes through my way of breaking it down with TPS for Haitians and what they should be considering if you have a removal order, if you don't have a removal order, if you came in under humanitarian parole, whether asylum is something that you should do, whether it really is ending or not. And you'll hear me talk about all of those aspects, those issues in that video. But I did say that it is ending. I really believe that this is the end. It's been 15 years and this administration has made their case, and they're very serious about it, very, very serious about it. So now is the time to certainly act fast and explore what your next steps are going to be. We're working already with a lot of Haitians, and of course we're going to continue to work with Haitians and others, Cameroonians and Venezuelans and others whose TPS is ending. But you've got to act quickly, guys, and watch the video. I won't go through all of this again today. Watch that video. Let's see. So Sarah says that my husband came through Mexico. He checked himself in at the border. They took his fingerprints and they gave him a removal hearing for 2027. Should I do the I-130 now or wait? I think, Sarah, it makes sense for you to file, in my opinion, the I-130 right away, get him on track. Now we'll have to take a look. Well, if we're looking at this case, I don't know, you might already have someone who is working with you. There are over 6,000 immigration lawyers in America, okay? So people have options. But if we were taking a look at this case, Sarah, what we would be looking for is how he checked in, so to speak. How did he come to the United States? It sounds like illegal entry. We'll look specifically to see whether he could adjust status here or whether he'll need to finish the process abroad, and that process does work. We'll also look at his records to see what else is going on, but his hearing is in 2027. You guys are seeing this for yourself. The government is given far out dates, 2028, 2029. I think 2028 is the furthest out that I've seen, personally speaking, I think. Anyway, far out. So now you have time to strategize, get an I-130 filed, get it approved, check in with go to the hearing in 2027, or unless the judge moves it up it's possible that you might even get an earlier, he might even get an earlier date. So pay attention to the docket, check in once a month to see, if any changes were made to the hearing date, and update the court on where things are with the I-130 process, and your attorney will take it from there. All right, thank you guys. Freedom now. Oops. I have this big mic in my face. Let's just shift it over a little bit. Someone's asking a question about earlier HR 875. It's not supposed to be retroactive. Nothing is supposed to be retroactive that Congress puts in place, but how the judges will consider this and apply this is always the question, right? And that comes down to training and understanding of the laws and such. Guys, again, if you have any good news to share with our community today about an approval, drop it in the comments. We're tracking that, and I haven't seen anything come in yet. I'm really looking for something uplifting, something good that occurred. Drop it in the comments, okay? We're looking specifically for some good news today as well. All right, now let's go into something that I think is also really important for you guys to know about, and I am obsessed with this topic now, so get ready to hear a whole lot more from me on this topic. And it is about denaturalization. It is about losing citizenship. It's about having your citizenship revoked. Why am I now laser focused and obsessed with this topic? It's because it is one of the top 5 priorities of the Department of Justice in the civil division. And it's one of the top 5 civil enforcement priorities under the Department of Justice. And they are obviously now prioritizing denaturalization. In a memo on June 11th, to the civil division, the memo directs attorneys in the civil division to focus in on denaturalizing or revoking citizenship for certain individuals. And they have started to share stories about some of their denaturalization early success stories. And tomorrow, as a matter of fact, tomorrow on YouTube, you guys will see a video that I filmed last week, which is a Sixth Circuit decision involving a man from Mexico who became a U.S. citizen after lying about his criminal history, became a U.S. citizen, served his time in prison for a very serious crime. When he got out, the Trump administration 1.0 tried to denaturalize him, revoke his citizenship. They were successful. It was easy to do, very successful. And then the immigration court process started to try to strip him of any status here, lawful resident status, and a judge issued a removal order against him, and then another judge, then it went up to the Board of Immigration Appeals. They agreed with it. He appealed to the Sixth Circuit, and then just last week, the Sixth Circuit made a ruling, and I discussed this in a very short video that will go out to you guys tomorrow at 6:00 p.m. on YouTube about the outcome of that case and whether that U.S. citizen can be deported, the former U.S. citizen can be deported or not. But now the Justice Department is focusing on denaturalizing individuals through a civil process, not the criminal process where there's a timetable to how they could do that. But on the civil side, it's easier to do. Well, it's very, very easy for them to do it. Immigrants or naturalized citizens are not entitled to an attorney because it's civil. There's a lower burden of proof for the government to make their case to denaturalize an individual, and it's just easier and faster to reach a conclusion. So they are looking at prioritizing the following types of individuals for denaturalization. Firstly, individuals obviously who have some sort of connection to terrorism, espionage, and unlawfully exporting from the United States sensitive goods, technology, and information. That's an obvious one. The second one is also obvious, and this is what they've done in the past. Cases involving individuals who engaged in torture, war crimes, or other human rights violations. Okay. Cases, number three, cases against individuals who furthered the unlawful enterprise of criminal gangs, transnational criminal organizations, or drug cartels. Okay. Number four, cases against individuals who committed felonies. Broadly, this is what they're doing. Felonies that were not disclosed during the naturalization process. And for some people, it's a naturalization fraud criminal federal offense that gets them 10 years in prison. But this is not, this is, folks, these are individuals who did not disclose a felony during the naturalization process. Number five, cases against individuals who committed human trafficking, okay, sex offenses and other violent crimes. There's going to be some redundancies here. And number six, people who commit financial fraud against the United States, like the Paycheck Protection Program, PPP, or Medicaid or Medicare fraud. Okay. Number seven, cases, and this is where this is not the real broad one yet. We'll get to the broad one soon. Number seven, cases against individuals who engaged in fraud against private individuals, funds, or corporations. Number eight, this is the broad one. Could be anyone, okay? There's such a glare now. I like getting a glare here. Number eight, cases against individuals who acquired naturalization through government corruption, fraud, or material misrepresentations not otherwise addressed by another priority category. Number nine, cases referred by the U.S. also brought cases referred by the U.S. Attorney's Office or in connection with pending criminal charges, if those charges do not fall within one of the other priorities. And then number 10, another catch-all, any other cases referred to the civil division that the division determines to be sufficiently important to pursue. Okay, so these are the priority cases that the Justice Department is now going after. They are looking specifically for the opportunity to denaturalize individuals in a civil process, which is very easy and faster for them to do. So pay attention to this one, guys, because you're going to be hearing a lot more about what they're doing to try to strip citizens of their status. And then tomorrow you'll hear me say that, well, you can't, if they committed a crime, convicted of a crime while a citizen, you can't deport them according to Sixth Circuit and also U.S. Supreme Court. But all of these issues are going to most likely go right back up to the U.S. Supreme Court for reconsideration. So certainly stay tuned. All right. Okay, let's keep going here. Thank you for being with me. My husband needs to go to Guatemala for his visa interview. Is it safe for him to go? It might be safe for him to go, Iris. We just had a case in which our client from Honduras went to Honduras after being in the United States for 23 years without documents, and he had entered the U.S. illegally too, as well. And I told that success story. So it just depends on the case, and he needs a 601A waiver, maybe. If he hasn't committed fraud or have any other issues on his record, he will need a 601A waiver approved before he leaves the United States. Okay. Let's see what else. Let's go down. Freedom now, guys. What happens if you're already a citizen and it happens in the past? Okay, what happened in the past? Because, you have to pay attention to the fact that what the Justice Department is honing in on is whether you committed a crime for which you were never even arrested for. And then you applied for naturalization, and then you said, nope, I've never committed a crime for which I was never arrested for. And then they approve you of your naturalization, your citizenship. And then later on, they find out about it. Maybe because you're already going through another criminal process and they find out about it that way. There are many different ways for them to find these things out. If the crime was committed while you were an alien, so to speak, and the government didn't find out about it until after you became a citizen, of course, it'll be uh, it's still easy for them to denaturalize you. Whether they can deport you or not, it's fact specific, and it depends on when you were convicted of that crime. So it's really kind of nuanced, but it's possible for the government to strip individuals of their citizenship based on a variety of reasons, including, all of those that I've mentioned here today. Let's see. Can the DUI offense lead to denaturalization? So again, this list that I've mentioned here talks about, the fact that if a case is referred to the Civil Division of the Justice Department by a U.S. Attorney's Office in connection with something else that they're going after you for. U.S. attorneys do not go after individuals for like basic state level, low level offenses. That's not their jurisdiction. It has to be something bigger than that, like fraud involving, I don't know, banks or credit card or internet schemes and things like that. Or, of course, bigger crimes that's on the federal level, federal jurisdiction there. So if they're getting you for one of those, and certainly they could refer you to the civil division for denaturalization in connection with pending criminal charges. We don't even know what those are. It could be anything. That's what makes this so broad. What type of pending criminal charge will get someone, this referral? That's yet to be seen and to be challenged, of course. AOS, I have an adjustment of status interview in August in Denver. Prepare yourself for your interview. Okay, know what's on your application. Know it very, very well. If you have any issues that you're really concerned about, like, I hope this doesn't come up. If you ever have that kind of thought, like, I hope this doesn't come up here, speak with a professional who you trust, who could tell you, yeah, this is going to come up, and here are the next steps, or what you should expect, and what the consequences could potentially be. Freedom now. Let's see. I see some approvals are coming in. Type in your approvals. I'm going to go through them at the very end just to end today's session on a very high note. If you had a work permit, green card, asylum, naturalization, swearing it, whatever, just share it, okay? If you got married, you could share that too. That we'd love to cheer you on and say congratulations. But specifically, obviously, we're looking for immigration success stories. Is it true that Trump has banned green card holders from traveling and re-entering the United States? So I've said no, that's not true. I've said that in the past. And if you're a green card holder who traveled recently and you came back to the United States with no problems, it was a breeze, just let us know. That's a success story that we'd love to highlight here as well. Let's go down. Does this mean green card holders will be at risk when renewing or applying for naturalization? Not necessarily. It depends on who that green card holder is and what's on that green card holder's record. I'm a U.S. citizen. I did a spousal petition for my wife a year and a half ago. Yes, the I-130s for some people have slowed down. For some, it's taken about 18 months or so. Okay, but for others, the process, some marriage cases are being approved in 3 or 4 months these days. Adjustment of status. I agree with this. Good news still abounds. Do not give up hope, people. Thank you for that. I have been reading and hearing that DACA will end, but it hasn't been announced yet. I would really like to hear your thoughts on this. I don't think DACA, has a future under this administration. We're 6 months into it, into the administration, I think, yeah. And I'm not hearing that, aside from the refugees who came in from South Africa, I'm not hearing about and the gold card for $5 million. I'm really not hearing anything creative from the Trump administration that is actually going to help anyone, including DACA holders. I was holding out, truthfully, I was holding out that he would do something positive, because he did mention last year that he'd like to do something for dreamers. And it's been 6 months now. We haven't seen anything. He said, I want to work with the Democrats. I haven't seen any evidence of that happening. And DACA, the courts have already, weighed in on this issue in terms of the legality, and also the fact that the president or the executive branch has a whole lot of power to determine what policies they put in place or take away. So I don't think DACA has a very strong future. I really hope I'm wrong with that. But we see them ending like everything, it seems, right? So we'll see what they ultimately do there. And I see success stories. Good news is coming in. Good news. Type in your good news, guys, so that I could mention them at the end. Okay, let's see. Okay, what if super chat, my first super chat for the day, the question is, what if asylum case was denied by USCIS and the immigration judge 20 years ago? Can a person reapply again due to that situation happening in Haiti? For us, we would need to look at your record about the first asylum case to see what went wrong there. Was it a frivolous filing? If it was a frivolous filing, we're not going to obviously try to do anything further regarding trying to reopen and trying to make an argument with respect to that first case. Reapplying is something that we would need to consider, but only after we understand that first case very well and understand and have an argument to make that there's some credible fear that you have returning based on maybe your membership in a group, a certain group, or for various other reasons under U.S. asylum laws. Second super chat question is this: my boyfriend entered with the CBP1 status. If we get married, will he still be deported? So the CBP1 folks, you guys know that the Trump administration is going after them for expedited fast track deportation process. It really depends on where he is in, in the process. Starting an I-130 case for him makes sense. We'll have to look at his record to see if there's any way that how he could finish the process through you. Okay, but there's never a slam dunk. There's no slam dunk with regard to things. Yes, people made that appointment to show up at the U.S. border in a orderly fashion, but for some of them, they were actually placed in removal after that. And then others fell through the cracks, the administrative cracks, and nothing happened with them. So it just really depends. We'll have to meet one-on-one with him to learn some more facts, okay? And then the decision to get married has to be independent of immigration. You cannot do it for the immigration benefit, right? To keep him here or to stop deportation. That would be considered fraud. So we'll have to examine your intent before we accept this contract with you. Next super chat question is, after my asylum denial and many years ago in the United States overstaying my visa, can I adjust my status through my daughter's I-130 when she turned 21 in 3 months? This is what the judge put on my case. Okay, so this person had an asylum case not approved by USCIS and referred over into immigration court, and she's still in court going through the removal process. However, the judge recognized that she has a potential pathway to a green card through her daughter. And so I don't know if your case is in administrative closure at this time, waiting, okay, for your daughter to be able to file an I-130 for you. That's what a lot of judges would have done. This is a good thing. This is a good thing. Once she turned 21, filed the I-130, and then because you overstayed your visa, as you've said here, you won't be able to adjust your status through a one-step process. The removal case will actually need to end, be dismissed. So you're on track. Do not file her I-130 before she turns 21. You've got to literally send it out after she turns 21. Okay. Another super chat. If the person came to the United States a year ago, at 1 year old, and the parent didn't go to court, so since mom was placed in removal, the person was also placed in removal. This does happen, guys. It's really sad, but it does happen when children are attached to an asylum case that's in removal, and most likely asylum, but if I don't know what else. And then if the parent is issued a removal order, then the child is also issued a removal order. So that person who's now an adult will need to have an independent way of reopening that removal case and having that case terminated. So that person should certainly speak with an attorney on that, okay? Type in freedom now, guys. And also put in more. We want more of your success, your good news. Share some good news below. I'd love to be able to share the good news at the end of the broadcast. As a green card holder with a DUI from years ago, could that get you deported now? Now, this HR 875, it's aggressive. It's aggressive, and it's not supposed to be retroactive. If this passes the Senate and signed into law by President Trump, I would definitely question whether you should even pursue naturalization in light of this, okay? Let's see, freedom now. Freedom now. Let's go into the next big piece here. Okay. Guys, you also heard the news that the big beautiful bill, some news outlets don't even want to call it that anymore. They just want to, some folks on Capitol Hill are just trying to push this forward, but it's President Trump's big bill, and it is really advancing, okay? It is really advancing. The Senate is entering a marathon session to debate and vote on this President Trump's signature tax package, and the GOP is working to finalize the bill by July 4th, okay, which is Friday, right? July 4th. And this bill, friends, as you guys remember, and I have videos out there on it breaking this down on YouTube. This bill increases spending on border security, defense, and energy production. It also makes cuts to healthcare and nutrition program, and it's massive, guys. It's really massive. And these are the many pages of talking points that I went through in an earlier live session a few weeks ago. 150 billion will be injected into mass deportation efforts or an agenda over the next 4 years. 150 billion. It's basically going to convert or turn our country into a massive police state. That's what this is likely to turn into, with a significant amount of money going to ICE, to DHS to carry out a lot of work, okay? And so this is a huge priority right now to the Senate Republicans, and The Senate worked through the weekend with a vote-a-rama expected to continue through today and into the night tonight. And during a vote on whether to proceed, all but 2 Republicans voted yes. Senate Democrats delayed progress by forcing the entire bill to be read aloud, and it took 16 hours to read the entire bill aloud. The vote-a-rama allows any senator to propose unlimited amendments requiring continuous votes, sometimes going all night. Now, this is moving fast. It's moving fast because this is a budget reconciliation process. Only 51 votes are required or needed here on the Senate side, not 60. And the GOP can advance this bill without any Democratic support. They don't need one, because if they lose 3 votes on the Republican side, well, the tiebreaker will be Vice President J.D. Vance. So there you have it, the 51 votes. And this is huge, huge, huge huge amount of money going to DHS, ICE, to carry out mass deportation, in addition to other things like the border wall and some other stuff. But a lot of money to hire a lot more lawyers for the Department of Justice, a lot more agents, just a huge, huge huge amount of money to carry out a lot of work. And it also does things like raise certain immigration filing fees, like the asylum application will go up to $1,000. If you're trying to appeal a judge's decision in your removal case, it goes from $110 filing fee to $900 filing fee. But of course, anyone would pay the $900 filing fee to have their removal case go on appeal, of course. But there's just a lot of other aspects to this bill, guys, that are really concerning, and it really has to do with the enforcement side of things. So let's continue to see what happens this week. Again, July 4th is the deadline, self-imposed deadline that they've created here for themselves with this big tax spending bill. So we'll continue to watch this progress. Okay, I think that's the last thing here. Let's go over here. More testimonials are needed. Thank you guys for being here. Let's go over to this column. Okay, super chat question says, Haitian on TPS who overstayed the visa. Okay. Checked online and saw a removal notice, but never received a letter. What's the smart thing to do from here? What do you mean by a removal notice? What did it say? What's the notice? Did it say that you missed your hearing and a removal order was issued against you? Or does it say that you have a hearing date coming up? If it says that you have a hearing date coming up, you've got to, you could certainly go to court on your own if you choose to do that. You can do that too. People don't like it when I say get a lawyer, so I'm saying go to court on your own. But the smart thing to do, which is what you've asked, is for you to hire an attorney to take a look at your background and see whether there's a way forward for you that can be argued in court to keep you here, because that is the ultimate goal, is to keep you here for as long as you want to be here. So I don't know what this removal notice is that you mentioned here that you saw online. The other question is, do you have an attorney who is on record for you at the court, with the court? Because if you have an attorney who's on record for you, you won't get the notice, hearing notices. The attorney will get the hearing notice. So anyway, so that's what I would say about that. Okay. Okay, another super chat says, a friend who is a pending asylum seeker came in legally, has a child with sickle cell. What are their chances? Her husband was in politics. So chances for what? An asylum case? Can't answer that without knowing the details privately, one-on-one, about the asylum case. The sickle cell has nothing to do with the asylum claim. So we would want to assess the case carefully to determine whether there's a way forward, whether it has merit. It has merit or not. All right, good question. Here, another super chat says, I entered as a tourist. I adjusted my status. 5 months later, I was already married to an American. I received my green card in 2021 after requesting a visa fraud waiver. Okay. Am I at risk for revocation? No. You're not at risk for revocation. You had disclosed the fraud, and the government, through the waiver process, looked at your case and said, we're okay with this, right? We're going to say yes to her. They said yes. And so it's different, though, if you there's a lot of fraud, guys, by the way, a lot of fraud and misrepresentation with immigration. It's just a fact, and that will probably never change ever. And so the government can't catch everything. However, what they're laser focused on, as mentioned earlier, is if is it in connection to a criminal issue? They're really looking for that. Is the U.S. Attorney's Office already going after you for something else that's serious? Then, well, yeah, let's throw in naturalization fraud, or let's throw in something else and denaturalize a person. If you have a green card like this individual, and she was approved for a waiver involving fraud, you're not really the priority that they would be looking at right now. Even when after seeking naturalization, it just, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Is it safe to travel abroad? I think so. You're a green card holder. I think that you'd be fine. You're traveling at your own risk, of course, but you're a green card holder. Thank you for the super chats. I see more coming in. Thank you. Type in a good news story for us to celebrate at the very end of today's show. This is no show. This is our moment together. Let's go see what other questions you have. I filed for my work permit more than a year ago. Haven't gotten a response yet. I have been on DED for more than a year now. I'm not sure what's going on there with your work permit application. You can reach out to us for a private one-on-one meeting to learn a little bit more. I have been naturalized for 20 years now through a bona fide marriage. I had 3 speeding tickets over the years. I paid my fines. My ex-wife has passed away. Can I travel? Absolutely. So many information on the internet is making me scared. Well, yes, of course. There's a lot that we're putting out. There's a lot that others are putting out. But you've got to, pick and choose how you're going to allow it to make you feel. And I don't think that you have anything to worry about. Freedom now. Okay. Let's get more success stories. I see a few on my list here. Type it in. Anything good. Something good. Okay, I am a U.S. citizen, and I did a spousal petition for my wife a year and a half ago, and we have not received any word yet from USCIS. Yeah, for some people, as I've said earlier, 18 months or even a little longer on the I-130 is what they're facing. For other people, truly, they're getting their approvals in 3 to 4 months. I don't know what's going on here. It's bizarre. So there are some good things, and then there's some bad things happening at USCIS. But you're not alone. Just know that you're not alone, okay? Waiting this long. How safe is it to travel with my VAWA combo card? Sean is asking. Sean, I think, I've been saying that it's fine to travel on your advance parole. But, don't leave the country if you have a criminal history and you have not cleared and you have a criminal history. Don't leave the country if you have a criminal record. You're going through a green card process through VAWA. It's a delicate process. You have advanced parole. You will be allowed back in. But if you have some criminal issue on your record, it could create a little bit more problems for you after they allow you in, okay? If you're just joining, earlier we talked about some big news involving HR 875 about the fact that it passed the House last Thursday, and it is broad, and it doesn't matter if a person has a misdemeanor or a felony or even been convicted of it, so long as you've admitted to driving under the influence DUI. Doesn't even matter if it's 3 or 4 of them. It could be 1. You would be considered inadmissible and also deportable. Play this live session again. So at the beginning, you'll hear this. Also, this is going to be published all over, so you'll get your clips. We also talked about the fact that the Department of Justice has a top 5. What's on its top 5 priority list for enforcement is denaturalizing or revoking citizenship for certain people. We've talked about them. We also talked about DHS terminating TPS for Haiti and what they should do next. And then the big, beautiful bill is making its way through the Senate, and only 51 votes are needed for it. It looks like they're going to get it, with a tiebreaker being J.D. Vance. So the big goal is to pass it by Friday, July 4th. Let's go down a little bit. I have a DUI. I have an approved I-601A waiver, and I'm waiting on my counselor interview. I do have a DUI. Will I be denied? Is this the end of the road for us? No, I'm not saying this is the end of the road for you. No, not saying that. Not saying that at all, because this, I'm pretty sure, could be cured via a waiver process. If the Senate passes this and President Trump signs it into law, we would then have to see, have you made it through yet, or are you still waiting for your interview at the U.S. Embassy? We'll have to, guide you. If we're working with you, we will guide you as far as the risk level is concerned, as far as a waiver is concerned, and what the timeline will look like in order for you to return to the United States. So do not take this as, oh my God, this is the end of the road for me. But this is big, and I thank you guys for your patience with me, because I missed this. I missed it, and you guys, every live session over the last few weeks, you've been trying to have me talk about it, and it's right over my head. So my apologies. I've talked about it, and I will continue to talk about it, because it is a very important bill. It really is. Another super chat says that a friend's husband filed for asylum as he was almost abducted based on political persecution. They've been pending asylum for 2+ years. Should they be worried? They're still early on in their asylum process, 2+ years. I'd like to know when they entered. Was this a late filing? Was it filed timely? How did they enter the United States? Because what USCIS is, through rumors, by rumors, okay, this is a rumor. I consider what CNN says potentially a rumor as well. So just know that CNN, in an exclusive reporting, said that they've heard that USCIS is in the process of dismissing hundreds of thousands of asylum cases that they haven't decided on yet. And then the attempt is to place individuals in a fast-track deportation process. So that's why I've asked you the questions about when did the person enter, when was the asylum application filed, because through CNN, it's being reported that this isn't the next big thing that USCIS is going to do. There's delegated authority for them to do something like this. And that's what they're looking to do. And again, this is for people who have been in the country, who entered illegally, illegal entry, and then applied for asylum as it's reported. We'll see certainly whether it's true or not, but I thought I'd share that with you guys. I have another super chat. I did hardship waiver and I was approved, got my green card. Can I apply for my citizenship without a risk of them taking away my green card? So this is similar to the other question I had gotten earlier, involving the fact that you you have a problem on your record. You shared that problem with immigration. You through the waiver process, and they forgave you for it. And so, you know, what I don't, and so you should be fine. But what I don't know what you needed the waiver for, though, right? What was that hardship waiver for? What was the problem that the waiver cured? That's what I would want to know before applying for naturalization. Let's see. I was denied citizenship last year because I owe back taxes. I'm now on a payment plan. I do not have a criminal record. What are my chances of being approved? I think you might be fine. I think you might be fine. We would want to take a look at the timing of things to advise you on when to go in again with another naturalization case. That's what we would be focusing on. My wife's BIA appeal has been pending for 3 years. That's not uncommon. She now has an approved I-130. She now has, and she was diagnosed, unfortunately, with cancer in March. We'd like to waive the asylum. Edward, where's the rest of this? Where is Edward? Edward, you're gonna need to, I don't know, have you met with us already? Are you the one who said last week, oh, I had a consultation with attorney Leticia? Are you the one? Because, you know, sounds like there's more to it than that. I think you're the one. I could be wrong, but I would love to know more about what this is, what's going on here. Okay. What about if you're married to a green card holder and your priority date is not current as yet? Are you at risk? Melissa is asking. Melissa, you know, I don't know what's on your record. You could very well be fine and not at risk for anything at this time. Because again, it's impossible for the government to go after every single person. You're on track to having your status sorted out through a process through your spouse who has a green card. Unfortunately, you'll have to wait because of the visa availability issue. And your risk level is something that we assess one-on-one based on knowing what's on your background and such. Okay. Can you take my case? I live in Nebraska. Yes, we work with clients all across the United States, all 50 states, and in many different countries as well. Do we really need to carry the physical green card everywhere we go instead of a photocopy? I think a photocopy is fine. Guess who's carrying around a photocopy of her US passport? I'm not going to name any names. Guess who? Okay. Mm-hmm. She is. Okay. Let's see. Have you seen any same-sex consular visa rejections? I have not. I have not seen any visa rejections. Did something happen on your end? We would look at that. I have not seen that happen. Okay. Because they're supposed to make their judgment call based on the merits of your case and the legality of the marriage, particularly in the jurisdiction where it happened. Okay, so let's take a look at, we received, we have to figure out a better way of doing this because it just dawned on me that I can't even pull this up right now on the other computer that I'm using. Okay, so some good news came in today from you guys. Haptites says that I got approved for my asylum application after 9 years with my wife. We were approved on June 10th, 2025. Congratulations, guys. Let's congratulate him. Congratulations on the asylum application approval. Asylum is hard to get, guys. It's very hard to convince the government that you have an asylum case. I'm really happy for you. Congratulations. Then Adina Jones, 73, says, I went for deportation in 2008. Then I got married and became a U.S. citizen in 2015. She's going back in time here. When did you become a U.S. citizen? Was it 2015 or 2025? Thank you. Was it us? Did we were was it me? Was it us? She said thank you. But congratulations on becoming a U.S. citizen. Frank Eva 794 says my wife went for asylum interview in March, 10 years later, and got a work permit category A5 last week. We thank God. Congratulations, Frank. And then Aldrian Watson says, I know someone whose DACA renewal was approved within 2 weeks in April. He received his work permit in less than a month after he submitted his application. Good news Monday. Right. That's right. Good news. You guys are putting a lot of pressure on me. Good news Friday. Now good news Monday. I can get with it. I can get with that. Good news Monday. Okay. What is this other stuff here? Okay, I addressed those. Thank you very much. Rashid, I see them. Thank you guys for your good news. I hope it was uplifting to you. There's a lot going on with immigration. Still some good things are happening. So keep the faith, keep your head up. And again, we're here for you at 914-898-9488. This was a wonderful time with you. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it as well. I'm going to be relying more on Super Chat, guys. I'm just going to let you know. I'm trying to bounce between Super Chat and the regular chat. So bear with me because I've gotten into trouble with Super Chat folks a lot in the past saying you've ignored me. So I am paying more attention to Super Chat. So stay tuned for the next live session, which I don't have the date yet, but I'm watching this week the Big Beautiful Bill. And certainly as things rolled out, I will go live and share the time with you and go over stuff together. Tomorrow, again, we have a good YouTube video coming out. It's under 5 minutes, and it's about Gonzalez, a Mexican man, national, who became a U.S. citizen, but got himself into a lot of trouble, big trouble. So much so that he lost his citizenship, but they could not deport him. So the Sixth Circuit made a decision in the case last week, and I think it's going to eventually go up to the Supreme Court because the Trump administration they've been trying to deport him since 2019. So stay tuned for that. I think it might be an important one for the Supreme Court. We'll see. I don't know. Guys, thanks so much again for being with me. I have consultations this afternoon. Join me also on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Those are the only three for my next live session sometime this week, maybe in the evening. Thanks so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.